Mr. Pete Najarian. How you doing, sir?
I am doing great, man. I tell you what, it was the hardest thing to get into this whole window of this platform, but I'm in.
I love it, man. I appreciate you guys. We're having a pretty fun time kind of figuring out how to build a mobile but still like heavy content, hard-hitting thing. I would love people in my history of TV to check out the rig that we're running this from right now, because it's not a room, it's not a control room, it's a mobile station.
That's who you
but
are.
You know how
man.
it is down here. You got to carve out your spot.
You do. You got to. I remember the days, man. You know, that's why I wore those crazy coats and all the other stuff, and you had this goatee here and everything. I got to stick with it because it's been good luck for a long time.
That's right. In fact, hey, today I thought it'd be fun. We talked to John yesterday. Tell me if you guys differ. I mean, in so many ways, you guys are so similar. But I know you guys are different. I've hung out with you guys. What about your trading and your styles? Where do you guys have different approaches with certain assets, styles, preferences?
I might have been a little bit, standing on the trading floor specifically, probably a little more aggressive maybe than John. And that was just because I'd played football for a long time, came to the trading floor, and, you still got that blood boiling inside of you, man. So, I brought a little bit of that with me, and it made me a little bit more aggressive, and I traded pretty large. And John trades big. I just might have traded a little bit bigger. So, that's where we're a little bit different. But you know what? The risk, I always covered myself in certain ways that I could, the best I could. But, you're always going to have some risk somewhere. You can't eliminate all of it. So, I had some positions that sometimes were a little bit nerve-wracking for people.
Any that stand out? Were there any that made you nervous? Anything from back in the day, either here or, even if it was off the floor?
Well, I'll tell you what, it was primarily on the floor. And I would say this, when I stood in the AOL pit, when that was a big stock, that was kind of a Netflix back in the day as far as the volume and people talking about it and all this crazy stuff. And there was a point in time where they actually called the office and said, hey, Pete's one of the larger shareholders of stock in this company. But for me, it was hedged around, though, right? I mean, I had calls and I had puts and I had all the things, but they just wanted to confirm the number of shares and that type of thing. So, you never know.
It's a good problem to have. That's like at the poker table when they come over and they say, hey, we need to get you some bigger chips. We got to clear out your space in front of you a little bit. We're going to give you the green chips.
That's right. That's right.
Tell me, do you see any of that type of stuff, Pete, in your kind of instinct when you see some of these big bubblicious moves over the last, call it since the low, basically, since the tariff low of the spring? I don't need to go through and name all the names. I think a lot of them are really good companies, but some of these moves have been explosive. And I think the last 2 days, do you get nervous that anybody's carrying too much size?
Oh yeah, I think there are some stocks out there that have been able to be on the ride, and this ride from those lows in April all the way to where we are right now. And I think there are some that are probably overpriced. John and I, we're always looking for the unusual option activity, right? I mean, you're sitting right there at the CBOE. We're looking for that option paper that's size, the option paper, whether it's in a huge entity like the VIX itself and some of the trades that go along with that. Or obviously just the individual names. And there's what I like about our market, what I've liked about our market, I should say, since April was we had leadership from tech, but it wasn't just tech. We had leadership from financials. It wasn't just financials. There's always a new leader, it seems like, for a week or two along the way. And that for me tells me it's been fairly healthy. It doesn't mean that every one of those deserves to be going as high as it's gone. And I think there are a lot of examples out there of stocks that have ripped to the upside that probably have no business being there. And they'll correct at some point in time. Now that it's just a matter of when, right?
Do you think the last 2 days presents any clear buy the dip for any of those high flyers, Pete? Is it you still think in trend to be buying on these dips? They're kind of trying to in the S&P today.
Yeah, and you know what? It's been fairly successful. I mean, the markets were looking really awful just an hour or so ago, and now all of a sudden we're starting to see them start to improve. Obviously, not as much on the Nasdaq, but certainly on the Dow and the S&P. So, I think these markets, there is so many different factors that are affecting the markets right now that it makes it, that much more difficult. But that's what we do, right? That's what we do for a living. We're trading options, and we're moving in and out. And I never have thought of myself as a day trader. But that being said, I will tell you, if you get the move that day, I think you have to react. And those moves that take sometimes a day, they used to take weeks, maybe months to make those kind of moves. You buy something for $1 that all of a sudden is trading $4. I think you have to make, the disciplined decisions along the way. And I think that, that's one of the things that's helped out myself. It's helped out John, a lot of the people that are part of Market Rebellion, because we post up all the time what we're doing and how we're doing it and all the rest of it. And that's, I think it's been a benefit for people.
Let's get a little risky, Pete. Let's go through some event contracts for 90 seconds. I got Kalshi up, and I thought I'd start easy just looking at the Bitcoin at 125 and get your thoughts on that. It's kind of an interesting approach, trading an asset versus betting on a specific price level. To some extent, it kind of seems like some of these events recreate the use of an options contract to some extent, but how do you think people should think about this when you're got the option to, all right, I can either trade the underlying or make this kind of binary bet on if Bitcoin's going to hit 125?
Yeah, and I think for some people that's probably the right approach. I think for other people, myself, that's not really the way I want to approach it. But they come in with an opinion, and they want to be able to trade off of what the opinion is. They come in thinking, you know what, Bitcoin was 125,000, it's dropped down to XYZ. I think this thing's going to actually bounce back and get to this level at some point. So, and everybody's got their opinions on these types of things. These trades become very interesting trades. I still have a little bit more of a conservative side on this particular kind of trading because it's difficult, right? I mean, you're looking at something and it's either yes or it's no. And
right. Okay, it kind of makes it like blackjackifies it a little bit, It kind of makes it this binary thing in a way.
Right, absolutely, and you know what? That's great for the people who understand it, and they understand what those risks really are. That's fine, but as long as they understand that risk, my biggest thing in life is just that people need to know who they are. And
sure.
So, I know that sounds ridiculous,
but
it's true. You have to know: do you like that much risk on? Because this is a binary bet, and that's a lot of risk, right?
Yeah, true. Pete, great stuff. Thank you, sir. Looking forward to more.
Really appreciate it, man. Take care.
Absolutely. Pete Najarian, co-founder of Market Rebellion.